So these are the Holly 66-pound injectors. 3 jets of fuel per injector. Okay, so it's back on the dyno because I wasn't happy, obviously, just road tuning it or car park tuning the cam in. So we've got it back on the dyno. Really irritating because it's fecking loud now. Just done probably 90% of the tune, like quick rough tune, still no ignition tuning whatsoever, but the ignition map's around right, sort of 28 to 30, well 28, 29 degrees top end, so we expect the figures to be somewhere close. I don't know if you remember, it made about 320 last time, and I'll put the another photo of the graph up here, hopefully if I can find one. But this is obviously now making 400 nearly at 5.4. I pulled out because of the fueling issue. It's running slightly lean, and obviously I just want to make sure that everything's looking cushy because peak torque is kind of there, and we're starting to run flat we should be running flat fueling numbers now. As obviously peak torque is staying, the same amount of fuel should be going in. So I just want to double check that. These other runs are obviously my half pulls that I did, but we made even 3/4 throttle, made 320, so it's quite a considerable jump. Just letting it cool down because we're going to check the fuel pressure. Sorry, we're going to check the fuel filter to make sure that's not blocking up. Obviously it's not skewing any of the figures. And here's the fueling curve. It's actually down at 13, just under 13, although on the oh, that might be, no, that's where I let off. It looks alright on here, but it's not alright on the LS 4.9s on the ECU. Here's a quick comparison between the old cam and the new cam. Obviously it's not fully tuned yet, but you can expect it. I think we might be making 420, 450 by the end, and then 100 shot of nitrous, which we're going to test out. Whoop, 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 whoop. Alright, so we've ended up with 437.9 at the flywheel and 358.2 at the wheels. I think we're just making about 402, 405 pounds-foot of torque, and we're revving it right out this time. We are having an issue with fuel pressure, which would be odd, but it is happening. Ooh. So just did this data log, and you can see, blue line here is fuel pressure. Obviously this is TPS, I'm still flat out, and you can see the AFRs lean right off. So we're running about 12 AFR here, which is good as far as I'm concerned. But then for some reason right at the top RPM the fuel pressure seems to drop off. So it's about 52 PSI here, 53, and then dropping down to about 30 something. Let's just check. So that is 34 PSI we're dropping from 52. Let me just double check that as well. 53, 54, yeah, so that's a big drop and no real reason why. Despite the under fueling right at the top end, yep, that's right, we're going to run the nitrous. I was just having a quick Google to see what the max power is of this engine on stock rods and pistons. So John, what's going to happen?
I'm gonna, well, the original plan was ducka flail, but Ian's concentrating too hard, so now I should be like, attention, save the engine.
Because I'm going to be looking at the laptop and air fuel ratios and stuff, and John doesn't want it to break 550 horsepower basically. Is that
I'm not saying it's gonna, but it also might. Like, I'm not saying it's not gonna, so you know, just better safe than sorry.
Okay, so we've done a whole bunch of runs. Now we were leaning out before, and then the last two runs we did after just stopping the car for a bit and putting the nitrous bottle on, We're then running rich, where I added some fuel on the injectors just in case, but now we don't seem to have a fuel pressure drop for some reason, which is really weird. Maybe, yeah, I got nothing. So this is the nitrous run, and you can see we've switched it on, started to make torque, but where it's so rich down here at 11 AFR, we just lost all that torque, and then it's just running. No wonder we didn't feel it out on track. Okay, so we went from a 100 shot in the fuel, or 100 jet, to a 90 jet, and it got richer, which it is actually a smaller jet, so we don't really know what's going on, but it got richer, pretty much exactly the same curve. So we're going to try an 80 and see if that gets even richer or leaner. I mean, it should definitely get leaner, but who knows. So that is a 200 jet, but I just had a thought that we were running 54 psi, and these are probably rated at like 3 bar when they work out the fueling versus nitrous, so that is why we could be higher. And John's saying that maybe with the fueling it could be so rich that it's putting a funky figure out, which is legit. Okay, yeah, so we've got the original 100 jet, very odd, 90 jet, super odd, and now we've just put in the 80 jet, but obviously I reckon that the fuel pressure upping of 42 psi means that we need to run lower jet anyway, so we'll see how he runs on the 80 jet. And I did just quickly do a short power run just to check without the nitrous on that it still runs the same path, and it does, that's not a problem. Right, so we did another run with a nitrous. It's this green run here, and that would be this run here. And the reason it's much lower is because the bottle was very slightly open, mainly turned off, so it was dumping a small amount of nitrous, but not all of the nitrous needed. And the solenoids failed anyway, so that's the end of that one. So I'll clear this up and we'll see the final figures. Okay, so here is the final power figure in green, which is 437.9 and 358 at the wheels, and then that is the nitrous line that we last ran, but then obviously you've got like 11 AFR flats, if not slightly worse, on the fueling. So that's pretty much it now. We're going to tidy up and call it a day. Okay, so here's the 2 runs back to back. Obviously I only ran to 5,800 on this run, but you can see it's basically just started to peak and run over. And here's the other run on the cam, and again we've peaked, just started to run over, so there's no point running it any further really. And obviously our RPM limit is actually at 6,500. So this is the flywheel figures, which are bullshit, and then the wheel horsepowers, which are, you know, obviously this is what the dyno actually reads, the wheel horsepower. So this is what we're really looking at. Although it was 320 before, it's 437. There's quite a big, what's that, 60 horsepower, 70, 80, nearly 80 horsepower there. These are the figures. So it made 260 horsepower, and now it's making 360 horsepower. So 100 horsepower gain on the cam, which for a straight swap cam, that's not too bad, and we're still running pretty much everything fairly stock. The next upgrade is most likely going to be fuel rails, not because they're any better, but because of the way the fuel system we've got working. We've got 2 pumps and 2 lines to come in, so we'll feed back to each of the back rail and then return from the front, potentially, because we want to upgrade the inlet manifold. Obviously these are a known restriction on the LS, so if we can get probably a, is it Fast X or something, I don't know, but John's doing his research and he'll get an inlet manifold hopefully, which will obviously help things along a little bit and pick up the horsepower somewhat. I think they're good for about 15-20 horsepower, they reckon. So hopefully when we get that swapped over, we'll see a couple more horsepower at least, and then we can get the fueling system plumbed in a little bit nicer, and hopefully get it retuned a little bit. And obviously we've still got to actually tune it properly. This is only a rough tune for now. Nitrous obviously failed and didn't work. The solenoid's buggered, which is great. So really, we probably want to be seeing, yeah, we probably need that nitrous for a decent, capable car, but I think we should go supercharger. Once again, it's all last minute. We only finished the dyno probably, I don't know, 4 days ago, and doing the final bits now. I've got the extinguisher, the handheld in, got the rear light bar, got the front light bar, they're wired in, and I managed to get this door bar in, so that's actually finally done. It's been a long time coming, but I really didn't want to stick it in because I have to lean over that bugger to get to all the other stuff. Got the headlight covers on the car now. I stuck them from the inside. They're just the glass, well, not glass, they're the original plastics. And I was looking at putting these headlights in. So something like that. I'm just testing the wiring. So we've still got the gearbox issue. It's very minimal now, very light little spatter here and there. But it seems to be blowing out the actual top of the shifter, not through the bolts because they've been sealed now. It literally must be coming out the top of the shifter. It's certainly not coming out the prop or anything like that. But we'll just put a sponge in there for now. That'll do it until we figure out. Probably actually going to change the shifter because we didn't do it before. It's only doing it now. So might change the shifter back to the stock one, see if it actually helps at all, gets rid of it. So we'll end up doing one final spanner check trackside, I think, because we're going to get there the night before, so we could got plenty of time to spanner check the car, make sure everything's still looking good. Obviously most stuff's marked anyway, and we'll be able to see the movement. Shame we haven't got the nitrous, but that is just what it is. I did have a thought that we could nick it off another car or nick a pair of solenoids off another car, but I think that idea is just a bit too late in the day for getting it sorted. All we've got to do now is load all of this into the truck and get prepared with all the tyres as well and head off to Teeside. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos, subscribe, hit that bell and get the notifications. You can also check us out on Facebook. The link's going to be in the description. Thanks for watching and we'll see you soon.